for watching the Multicultural channel. My name is Fernanda, and today we have special guest, the Ecuadorian Association of Manitoba. Ecuadorians are finding new haven in vibrant city of Winnipeg, Canada, drawn by the promise of better life and endless opportunities. An increasing number of Ecuadorians, immigrants, have chosen to call this very city their home. But what factors have led to this trend, and how are these newcomers overcoming the challenges of adapting to our foreign land? Welcome, Priscila, Ariel, and Natalia. How are you doing today?
Good. We are good.
Good. How are you feeling, Natalia?
So exciting.
Exciting. Awesome.
Thank you for having us. We are so excited about this interview and proud to come and show our culture in your program.
And you know, guys, you've been doing such a beautiful work, so that's why I decided to invite you. And I would like to start with a couple of questions, okay? So what are some of the main challenges that Ecuadorian typically encounter with the move of Winnipeg to Canada?
Absolutely, I would like to say, like, one of the first challenges is the culture, the shock cultural thing that we face when we arrive as a new immigrants, because we left our families, our food, our friends, back in our country, and here we have to start from zero. That is a challenge, and every family, every person, even in each family, face these problems in a different way. Another thing, it could be the weather, absolutely, right? Because even if we know that it's cold, we have done our own research about the weather.
Right.
It's different to see and watch on movies, and once you come here and you really face the cold and the snow, is when you realize how hard it can be. So it's a challenge, but it's part of the learning curve.
And the process, right?
Absolutely.
How about you guys? How are you feeling here in Canada, in Winnipeg, being part of the Ecuadorian Association of Manitoba? Let's start with you.
Oh yeah. I feel so excited to be in another country because I didn't imagine I will be in another part, far from my country, where I born.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. How about you?
I feel so good. Yes.
You feel good, Natalia. That's awesome. It's nice to feel good in a foreign country, and I congratulate you, guys. Okay, so let's begin. When the Ecuadorian Association of Manitoba start or begin?
Fernanda, we were established on 2021.
Okay.
Natalia Ponce, Valesca Wilson, and Miriam Lopez, they are our founders. Okay. And after that, they call a bunch of people, and we finally create our no-profit organization, registered in Manitoba. And since then, we have been serving the Ecuadorian and the Latino community here in our province.
Beautiful. Who decides how this idea came to your mind? Why do we need an Ecuadorian association here in Manitoba?
Okay, this is fun because before 2018, it was just a couple Ecuadorian families in Winnipeg and in Manitoba in general. Let me tell you that probably no more than 10 families. So in 2018, since that year, we estimate that we are more than 1,500 people here already in the province. So the immigration has been huge, and more families are coming. So in 2018, 2019, we start talking about, hey, what we can do, but we were so fresh. We were trying to finish the studies, getting a home, trying to organize ourselves. But in 2021, our funders, they just in a chat talking, they said, hey, we should do something else. So they start talking and talking with more people. So we were approx like 8 or 10 people that we just joined us, and we finally decided to open our nonprofit organization and open the Ecuadorian the Association of Manitoba.
And that's beautiful, because several years ago was really tough for us to find more Ecuadorian people, right? But well, let's continue. And guys, how are you feeling of being part of these new projects with the Ecuadorian Association of Manitoba? Natalia?
And I feel so good for my first time.
Yeah. So Priscila, why do you think is one of the reasons why Ecuadorian community are moving to Canada, and specifically to Winnipeg, Manitoba, or anywhere in Manitoba?
Okay, the last 5 years, Ecuador is living a very, very tough situation.
Right.
As we know, we are living a financial crisis,
Right.
and also lack of opportunities, and I would like to say safety. The main thing that we are looking as a parents who bring our families here is to try to find safety, that they can walk to the schools and they can hang out with their friends without that anxiety that probably we can have in our countries, because
That's
right now that is not possible. So those are the 3 main reasons. And also because I think this is a country of opportunities. There's no age that is going to limit you to start over and learn a new career or try to do something different. So that is another thing that brings a lot of people to Canada. And specifically talking about Manitoba and Winnipeg, I think we are in love of Winnipeg. I am in love of Winnipeg. My family and I, we had an extraordinary experience here, because it's a small city that you can, in 40 minutes, you can be all over the city.
Right.
We have everything here. We have any kind of food, several restaurants, places to go. It's a safe city, but also is friendly. People is friendly. People is trying to help you and communicate at the beginning. The language, as you know, is a barrier for us, and people really, they are really open for the diversity.
They understand. Yeah, for sure. Okay, for you, Ariel, how do you feel, or how did you feel the first day here in Canada when you just arrived?
Seriously, I just gonna say the truth. I feel so nervous because I imagine this was a little part of Ecuador, and I didn't know that I was in another country because I was dreaming. Yeah, I was still dreaming to get that point, and seriously, I feel nervous. Then when I hear a lot of people speaking English, and a lot of, a lot of things change, like, I don't know, taxis.
Also the school, right? The school is super different than back home.
How is the hallways doing, and yeah.
Okay. Most of the Ecuadorians, when they come, are they willing to stay forever, or are they coming under any specific program that our government is helping us with?
Yes. There's a program where you can come as international student, and that provides a open work permit for the partner of the person who's going to come to study. And your children, they can have a student permit. That is the way that most of the people, most of the Ecuadorians, that is the program that we use to come to Canada. That means it's not easy and it's not cheap, because you need to invest in the university, and you need to invest surviving the first or the 2 first years, because just one person can work at home because another person is studying. It's very challenging, but at the same time, I think most of the families come with a plan. And our first goal is to have the permanent resident with filling out all the requirements that the province asks, and get a job. It's amazing, because we have a lot of job opportunities here, but at the beginning it's tough to get one
Right.
because the language, the culture, and also the nervous. It's amazing because when you were asking Ariel, how do you feel the first time that you came? In my mind, I was thinking, I was feeling silly because I thought I was speaking a little bit of English.
Yeah.
But when people talk to me, there are so many accents, and I promise I couldn't understand. So I was like, people asking me, and I remember my face like, oh my God, what are you talking? So that makes
Right.
you feel, really hits your self-esteem at the beginning. But after that, you start learning and you build that confidence again.
That's right. How is the school going for you, my darling?
And it's so different, the school.
Really different. What kind of difference you can notice?
The friends,
Friends?
yes.
And how about the summaries?
It's so good the summer. In summer we can go to the park, to the beach, yes.
Yeah. So how do you like the weather here in Manitoba and Winnipeg?
I like it, the weather so much.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Awesome. How about you? Any challenge learning English, going to school, high school?
Yep.
School? Yeah, how are your classmates with you?
When I was my first day of high school, I was literally in another place. Like
Absolutely.
School and high school compared to Canada and Ecuador is so different. So when I went, I was talking with a lot of teachers to help me how is work the high school and what I do.
Uh-huh.
To like my first day and my first week, I practically do that every day.
Okay.
And later I get the motion to be and expand with other person, talk with other ones. Yep.
Awesome. Good. Okay. So now let's talk a little bit more about the Ecuadorian Association of Manitoba. So you told me already when this project began, right? But what are you doing to support the newcomer Ecuadorian community here?
Absolutely. We have a few projects that I would love to explain you all of them, but the main part is to provide safe spaces for the new immigrants. Spaces like these wonderful and talented guys are part of, because they are part of the dance group of the teenagers. What is the idea? That they can hang out together, they can practice our culture, show our culture, and at the same time having fun between them, right? And we have another program, for example, is a women's circle, Círculo de Mujeres, that is once per month, and it's a space dedicated just for women.
Right.
No children allowed, no husbands allowed, just for women to try to talk about themselves, the topics that the challenges that they are facing as new immigrants and newcomers. And we have another programs, for example, the soccer team. We have a teenager soccer team, an adult soccer team.
Okay.
So that is for everyone, and families can join, and they practice once per week. And our director, Miriam Lopez, has done a wonderful job there, because she has contacted different organizations, Latinas organizations and Canadian organizations. Right. So we play games and tournaments in a soccer team. And another programs, I have a bunch of that I can say, but we have created, for example, events where we can also get some money to finance these programs. And we also provide webinars about, for example, how to buy a house, or what kind of problems you can face when you are looking for a family doctor, or about the credit card, and that information that probably it can be so basic, but when you just arrive, is very useful. So we are offering, we are all the time trying to get more programs and more projects so people can join when they are able to do it. I understand, Fernanda, like we do this because we know how we feel. We remember when we just arrived.
Right.
And for us as a member, or for me as a member of the board, it's a pleasure, it's an honor to serve our community. And I'm gonna use this time to try to call not just the Ecuadorians, also the Latino community to join to our programs. It's open for everyone because we were there a few years before, and right now we are opening all our programs to all the Latino community who want to join us.
And how do you feel people have been adapting to this new culture?
At the beginning it's tough, but I think people is doing great. You can see more and more how people is getting into the culture. For example, people is reaching not just entry levels jobs. They are getting more and more involved into the culture, participating in different volunteer activities. For example, we were talking about the folklorama and how the Ecuadorian community is trying to be part, volunteering in different pavilions. Hopefully one year we are going to have a pavilion for ourselves, but not this year. Probably next year.
I guess you need to work a little bit harder to make that dream come true, but you're gonna make it.
We need a lot of money and more volunteers, but we are working on that.
Okay, and this is the correct place to invite you, my Ecuadorian community, to volunteer and help this beautiful Ecuadorian Association of Manitoba. Okay, now how do you feel about finding housing for newcomers? Is that a big challenge
You
when
know
they
what?
first arrive?
In these 6 years that I have been here, I noticed that there's more and more information.
Okay.
When I came, it was 2 or 3 people who share information through social media. Right now, you can find Latinos, a lot of influencers and Latinos through YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. They are trying to transmit information. So I think it's easier, but at the same time, it's confusing because the deposit is something different. You don't know what part of the city you would like to live. You are always asking which part is better, and that is subjective, right? Because all the city is saved in general.
Yes.
There are neighborhoods that obviously they are having different issues.
Right.
But if we compare with our countries, with the problems that we have there, Winnipeg is a safe city.
Oh yeah, for sure.
For that reason, we have a specific project, Fernanda, that is called El Padrino.
Okay.
El Padrino is a program, and our director is Alexander Pazmiño.
Okay.
And his idea was to connect those families who have been living here for a couple years to support those new families.
Okay, sorry. So the Padrino is like the good father who's going to
Yes,
support
that
you
is
during...
that is the perfect translation. He's a good father. And this family is going to commit just in whatever they can do. For example, providing information about housing, explaining them how to open a bank account, talking to them about the schools, that kind of questions that probably when you are there, you see a bunch of videos, you can watch a bunch of videos of YouTube, but you still need more. These families are providing that to the newcomers, and some of them pick them up in the airport, some of them, they become friends. So this is a wonderful program. So we are always looking for families who would like to be a good father, and we have also promotion in Ecuador so people can register. Those families are coming. We have served, I don't know if it's exactly a statistic, but we have served around 30 to 40 families already.
Okay.
And the idea is like increase those numbers.
Okay.
So if this program, if you can share this program with the people who's coming or friends, please do it, because we would like to open for anyone who's coming from Ecuador, so we are able to serve them.
Does it mean that people that are already in Ecuador trying to move to another country, they contact you and ask you, what's the process? What are the challenges? How's that experience?
Normally, we serve them once they have all the paperwork done, because we are not immigration experts, right?
Or
we cannot do that.
Right.
You need to have a license for that, so we don't offer that kind of service. Nevertheless, once you have all your visas, we can help you to find out a house. We help you to explain you how the life is here. A lot of people ask, okay, how much I should bring? How can I bring the money? How can I start doing my things? So we are going to be able, and we just launched our website, and we are still working on that to put all that information in our website so people can register there.
Yeah, sounds good, sounds really interesting. So if you're planning to come to Winnipeg, it's really important to go to our Canadian government's website for sure, but you can get in touch with your own association, Ecuadorian, Colombian, Mexican association, to gather more information about the process, how's the living, what are the issues, etc. Now, I have a question regarding the economical situation. So for a newcomer, how they overcome it? Is that a problem? Do you think they are selling their houses before come to Canada? Is it difficult to find a job?
Yes. I would like to say, like, of course, every family has different experiences, right? But in general terms, you need families, Ecuadorian families, they have planned their process, and in the planification, they have to understand, know, and acknowledge that they need to pay the university, that can be from 15,000 to 20,000 Canadian dollars.
Right.
They have at least to have 6 or 7 months of rent, because you don't know when are you gonna get the job, and understand that just one person is gonna work in the household. So that means that the salary, even if you have a good salary, as you know, it's important to have 2 salaries in a household. So because the city is a little bit expensive, the housing is expensive. So
right.
In downtown, in San Vital, in any kind of neighborhood, for a family of 4 people, it should be around 12 to 15 or 1600. So that it has to be planned, and it has to be put it in your budget. If it's that is a challenge, it is. It's a lot of money that you need to invest, but it's part of the reason that we come, because we understand this as an investment. Because once you are part of the culture and you are part of the community, you can get a job, you can claim in your career, you are going to be a little bit more established, and those problems are going to overcome.
Right. And in order to get a job here in Canada versus in Ecuador, what are the differences that you have faced?
A lot of. One of them is the resume.
The resume.
I remember that I put my photo there, and everyone, why you put a photo? You said, sorry. In the curriculum that is called in Ecuador, we put photo, we put a lot of information that here in Canada no.
Right.
But we have a lot of organizations who can support that. For example, Manitoba Star, Immigrants Center, and OFE. There are organizations open with free services for immigrants. So in that case, yes, it is a challenge that you have to face, but at the same time, there are some resources available. So the idea is to find those resources and go for them.
And understand how the process is, right? Because it's like you are telling the company, what are you doing? How you can help them? It's like you're selling yourself to them. Versus than in Ecuador, that you put all your background experience, studies,
I noticed, probably I'm wrong, but I noticed that here people is focused more on the skills, more than anything. For example, I said people, like, what kind of skills you develop or you learned in your previous work.
Right.
Not just, for example, general manager. Okay, what your skills are? Conflict resolution, thinking in the big picture, or details, or hard or soft skills that helps you to performance a different job here.
And for someone that haven't had the Canadian experience yet, right, and are looking for their jobs, how they can accommodate the background experience in Canada to their new resume.
Exactly. Trying to get the skills that you develop in those jobs and adapting to what you are applying for. Because first you need to have a bunch of resumes depending of what you are looking for, right? Because it's not the same to send if you want to start as a waitress or if you want to go a cleaning company or if you want to a supervisor or a project manager, you need to have different skills. So it's different. People here is very specialized in something. For example, the carpenter is specialized in doors. They don't do nothing else, just doors. But in Ecuador, because the crisis, the problems, and the culture, we do everything. We think that we can do everything, right? So it's part of the adaptation that we need to live.
Okay, sounds good, pretty interesting. And for you guys at school, high school, have you feel any challenges? What's the difference between the Ecuadorian school, high school versus the Canadian one? Let's start with you.
Okay, the first challenge is the English.
English.
Yes.
Okay. English is a big challenge. So, Ariel, I have a question for you. What do you think is the biggest difference between the Ecuadorian high school, the Ecuadorian education basically, versus the Canadian education? Are there any challenges? Are people or your classmates willing to help you out? Any programs that the school offers to you? Can you tell us a little bit more about it, please?
Surely. I was during in a high school in Ecuador because I was in 7th grade. I go to my first day in high school was in Canada, so I don't know how is a high school in Ecuador. I think it's very different because I need to get to the class and there is the teacher waiting me to give us a class to all the classmates. And then the different part that looks fun and for a movie, practically the uniform. I thought we need to bring our uniforms to the high school and use every week.
How do you feel about it?
I feel like it's new for me. Like I didn't feel comfortable with my normal dressing. Like yeah.
That's more comfy for you.
Yeah, and then other changes that I see in the high school are the structure and how is the buildings. Yeah.
Tell me a little bit more about the structure.
In my high school, the structure is practically like a maze. So I can tell you that the first day I was literally like lost. It's like a maze there. And
you don't know where to go.
Yeah, literally. I was asking to a lot of teachers and receptionists to let me know where is the map or where are my classes. So I was lost the first week.
Oh my gosh, okay. Did someone help you out?
Yeah, they helped me. They're so kind.
Like friendly Canadian helping each other. That's good to hear. And how are you feeling now?
Now I feel more normal.
And motivated?
Yeah, motivated because it's fun when you see a lot of kind of people in your class, not normal people like they are bored or something like that. I really like how the teacher explains the theme and how they do the classes, like the planification, the activities. Yeah, they're so funny to me.
How different is that?
Like in Ecuador, we normally do with a book. We have a book and there we are the activities and the description of what activity we do, like math, there's the formulas, something like that, and there's the activities. In here, there are the teacher that explaining in the big board. that he explain it, put the formulas, and give us a chance to do it like the first time.
So it's a different methodology. What do you think is it easier back home in Ecuador or make things easier here?
They make things easier. Like,
For to understand. Yeah. Okay, that's good. Beautiful. How about the challenges with the health system, with the Manitoba health system?
When the families arrive to the city, the first thing that we always go to do is to get our Manitoba health card. The last years, all the families has faced different situations because the regulation has been changing. But once you have the Manitoba health card, the recommendation as Ecuadorian Association, we always said, if you are not sick, it doesn't matter, go to and find a family doctor because it can take some time. And once you have a family doctor, when you have that connection, I think is easier. But absolutely, is quite different because, for example, in an emergency room, you can sometimes wait between 5 to 8 hours. And of course, if it's an emergency, they are going to help you out immediately. Otherwise, you have to wait a couple hours. So that is a problem. And sometimes, I think, most of the cases, moms and parents get stressed out to get doctors for babies, right? For little children when you arrive with them. Yeah.
Right. But so just to let you know, people, if you don't find a pediatrician, you can also go to your family doctor, and the doctor will be able to help you out with your newborn baby or your kids. Okay? Perfect. Yeah, so that's a big difference, I understand, but we must move forward and appreciate what Canada is giving us. As I understand, the Ecuadorian is going through a really tough situation right now, and I feel all you guys are doing better here. I want to listen from you a nice, successful story about the Ecuadorian community, like creating new business, going to school, moving forward in their careers, even if their careers background home were super different.
I'm glad to tell you that there are many successful stories about Ecuadorians because success is a very general thing. For example, a lot of families reach us out because they got the permanent resident, and for that, it's a successful for one thing. Second, there are many entrepreneurial people who are already opening businesses. We have, for example, in Sage Creek, Charitos Bakery. This is two brothers or three brothers. They own the bakery, and they are from Cuenca and Civic. And they are a very successful family who are investing a lot in their business, and they are doing well. There are, for example, another person who I think is very successful is Freddy Acosta, who works in this channel. And why successful? Because he was doing exactly the same back in Ecuador. So not everyone has the opportunity to fill your career and keep doing what you were doing there. In my case, for example, I was a lawyer there, and of course, right now, I cannot work on that. I have to do a different thing. So that's why I can see him as a successful story, because it's nice that he can keep working in his own career. And I can keep going for hours and hours telling you that people is increasing their ways to success here in Winnipeg. They are getting better jobs, they are buying houses. In general terms, the Ecuadorians, we are very hard workers.
Right.
And second, we are people who came with the intention to be part of the community. We want to invest in the city. We want to work, pay our taxes, follow the regulations. And the idea is to try to blend in some point the nice part of the culture, the Canadian culture, and the wonderful values that we bring from home.
Right. Yeah, so do you think most of the Ecuadorians are coming Because you mentioned the study program. One is studying while the other one has access to work. So one of their goals are maybe get a master here in Canada and then move to another country, or just to stabilize here their lives and their futures.
I think most of us, we come with the idea to stay and live here.
Right.
Of course, as international student, you come as a temporal resident.
Right.
You need to fill a bunch of requirements in case you want to be a permanent resident.
Right.
But I think that at the end, the intention is to get the permanent residence, so open the opportunities for our children like them.
That's right.
And have the opportunity to them to study in the university and get their own lives.
Beautiful. Yeah, so that's really good to hear. And Priscila, we haven't talked about you. I would like you to share me a short bio about yourself, because you are the president of the Ecuadorian Association of Manitoba, and I'm assuming it wasn't easy to get it there.
Yeah.
How was your process?
Yes, the process is it was kind of, it's a little bit funny, because we were not elected. But thank you so much, because even if I was not elected by the community, we have a lot of support from the community. So when in 2021, we opened, I was part of the board also, we opened the Ecuadorian Association. We worked very hard the first year. But the second year we had some difficulties because it was a very small group. And of course, Fernanda, this is a volunteer work. And it requires a lot of time and a lot of efforts and a lot of money. And our community is very young. Right. Let's see, like our community, it should be no more than, I don't know, probably no more than 5 years. So that means that people, families, are still working in their own families to try to establish here.
That's right.
So it's hard for them to ask them and volunteer 20, 15 hours per week in this project. But this year, from January 2023, the new board was positioned, and this made an important change. Why? Because we are a board where we have 14 directors, and we are changing the structure. It's not like I am doing everything. Of course, no. Every director came with a different project. So each director is in charge to help and performance their own project.
Right.
And at the same time, we have another directors who are supporting. For example, we have the marketing.
Okay.
We have our director who's in charge of the website. We are creating a professional directory. So everyone is doing things in their own time, because we cannot push everyone to work in our times,
especially if they are volunteering.
So last year, and I want to be very honest with the community, most of the community knows that last year we were almost ready to close. And then in one conversation with Valeska Wilson, our vice chair, we were talking and we said, we cannot leave this project just close. We have worked so much, we cannot do this. So we have a very nice conversation in that time with Natalia Ponce, that is our past chair right now, and is part of the board also. And we said, okay, let's get all our energy again and let's work for this. So then we start calling people, and finally we are the new board. The idea is to be a transitional board of directors. The idea is that with all these programs, all these projects and events, keep calling people and leaderships so they can start working and prepare themselves and hopefully have elections soon.
Right. So you said that every election will be taken after 2 years, no? So you'll be
we
elected?
are thinking if we have a list of people who would like to be, we can do that, our bylaws let us to be a transition board. So that means that probably we can call on January and February. If that is not possible, we are going to be in charge for 2 years. But for example, these guys, these wonderful guys are in the dance group, and they are young people. We were talking a few minutes ago about the volunteer. So the idea is that they can get in the future this leadership, right? And start being part of how to help the community. I called them, they are in their vacations, and I called them, hey guys, it will be so nice to be part of this program. Thank you again for inviting us. Because it's not just me as a president doing everything. Oh no, there is a bunch of people, directors and volunteers and their parents who are supporting this.
That's right.
So it's more and more people who's coming and joining to this program.
Beautiful. And as young new immigrants, they are able to face challenges, and they can help with more ideas for future goals with the association, which is really great. Now, I would like to talk a little bit more about the Ecuadorian culture. I see this beautiful folkloric clothing. If you guys can please stand up and show us what's the meaning. Where are these clothes from in Ecuador? Thank you so much for all the information. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate you came. And Priscila, guys, you're doing such a beautiful job for the community. I wish you all the best. Okay?
Thank you so much, Fernanda, for inviting us and giving us some space to talk about our community.
You're more than welcome, right? How people can find you on social media?
Yes, they can. First, we have our website, www.ecuamanitoba.ca. And obviously, we have Facebook and Instagram. They can find us as Ecuadorianos in Winnipeg, or Equa Manitoba in Instagram also, Ecuadorian Association of Manitoba. All of those ways they can reach us. And obviously, we have an email also. If you have any requirement and you want me to read directly something, it's ecuamanitoba@gmail.com.
ecuamanitoba@gmail.com. Okay. So to all my beautiful Ecuadorian community that are already here in Winnipeg, Manitoba, or everywhere in Manitoba, don't forget that we have a really nice association, the Ecuadorian Association, who's fighting and doing their best to help you and support you. And thank you so much for watching the Multicultural Channels Community Hour. Don't forget to follow us on our social media. We have YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. And this was a nice episode, and I hope we help you a lot.